Settle in and relax with me. My heart is so loud, I just wish it would shut up sometimes, you know? With its incessant demands and constant fighting and unnecessary openness. Just close up, wouldn't you? My brain can signal what it needs and my mouth can say all the right things, but my heart just does whatever the fuck it wants to. I can play charades all day long. I can make up excuses and stories and alibis like a younger sibling covering up for a rule breaker who snuck out the window with someone bad for them. And the lie might have worked, but I will not rest until I hear them come home. Everything seems fine on the outside, but my goddamn heart is so reckless. And when something is ready to be put to bed, you can always count on this heart of mine to find a second wind. Especially late at night, when my brain asks politely if we can all get some rest. My heart stays wild and so very loud. And as often as I wish it would just shut up, I've never really liked the quiet. I'm gonna miss you forever. Did you know that? I will spend the rest of my life missing you. In big ways and small ways and medium ways and all ways. I'm gonna miss you. There aren't many things that last forever, but missing people never ends. Even people you shouldn't miss or don't want to miss or who don't deserve to be missed. That feeling will creep in like a robber on his tiptoes. He's in there, and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's a beautiful thing because I know I'll never forget to keep missing you, even when the space is between remembering and forgetting get longer. But it's awful because you only have to miss someone when they're gone. Sometimes I miss you and I know that's what I'm doing, and sometimes it'll just be an emptiness or an ache that creeps in and takes me a moment to ponder what hurts and where it's coming from. My body then clues into the difference between the pain of a cut on my hand and the grief of you being gone. And then I'll remember, and I'll miss you then too. For all my days. For all my days. Not every day, but in little pieces until the end of time. I am going to miss you forever, and I find so much peace and so much pain in that all at once. It would have taken me a long time to know what love feels like if I hadn't loved you. When I think about first love, the person that makes you press your back into the wooden door in your bedroom and silently cry all the way down to the floor. I don't know what that feels like because you love me. I know what that feels like because I loved you. I was buried in avalanches while you waited for snow that never came. I prepared for apocalypses and you didn't even lock your door at night. I could have written novels about the way I loved you, and you didn't even like to read. You didn't love me. I loved you. And that is how I know I learned what it feels like to love, and you what it feels like to be loved. And I hope we both learned something from that. What if we had met a little later? What if we had been a little older? And you had a little more time to find yourself, to make sure there was nobody better for you than me? What if we met a little later and you weren't so worried about settling down? You weren't so firm in your need to have options. I wouldn't have been your Jenga block being pulled from your tower during a game that was only half done, when you were still stable enough to pull a few more before you crumbled. What if I met you when you were ready to be built back up for good? What if we met a little later when so much time had passed, you felt like you were running out of it? So you stopped running and took a seat at the nearest bench to catch your breath and just never got up again. And that bench, oh, that bench would become the luckiest bench in the world because you chose it as your last stop. And it would happily sit with you while you wind down and pass the time, and it would go nowhere and do nothing but support every fiber of you, even though a part of you would always want to keep running. If we met a little later, would you have been definite in your feelings for me? because I could have met you anywhere, sooner or later in this life or another, and I would have been sure every time.